The Monaco GP is the ultimate driver circuit. No mistakes, no runoff. Literally one mistake puts you out for the whole weekend, whether that's qualifying, in the race. It is so crucial to not make a mistake at Monaco. Just one lap can make you the king of the Monaco streets. Take Lando Norris last year, Charles Leclerc the year before, Max Verstappen the year before that. You can literally do it all in one lap. But who are the best drivers currently on the grid at the Monaco track? And then who are the best of all time? Let's find out. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video for more F1 content coming at you in 2026. 2 weekly videos. Make sure to subscribe and join the community. Today we are going to be ranking the top 5 drivers on the Monte Carlo streets currently on the F1 grid, and then the top 5 of all time. Who is really Mr. Monaco? Coming in at 5th place currently, we have Lando Norris, the current reigning winner of the Monaco GP track. Even with the mandatory 2 pit stop rule, it could not stop Lando Norris from winning his maiden Monaco Grand Prix on the way to winning his maiden championship. Has always been consistent around Monaco, did a brilliant lap in 2022 in an awful McLaren, got his first podium there in 2021, has just been a solid driver at pretty much every track, but especially as we're talking about it now, Monaco. He lapped the apparent king of the Monaco streets, Daniel Ricciardo, in 2021. That is how strong Lando is at Monaco. Coming in at 4th place, we have Fernando Alonso. Fernando, a king at pretty much all of the circuits, but one of these is definitely Monaco. 2 wins here when he was in his earlier days in Formula 1 and nearly won again in 2023 as a 41-year-old. If Aston Martin did a better strategy call when it was raining and didn't put Fernando on medium tyres, he actually could have won that race. And at 41 years old against Max Verstappen in the dominant Red Bull, that would have been insane. Fernando is incredible around these streets, always knows how to get the maximum and consistently gets legendary laps in. Coming in the number 3 spot, we have maybe a surprising shout in Lewis Hamilton. When I say surprising, I mean could be higher. Because Hamilton is the GOAT, you'd expect him to be first in this and first in the King of Monaco, but I don't think Monaco perfectly suits Lewis Hamilton. As we've seen in recent years, he's not been confident with the ground effect era, and therefore he's not had good Monaco results. To be good at Monaco, you have to be confident in your car. It's quite simple. If you're not confident, you're not going to go close enough to the walls. That being said, Lewis Hamilton has 3 Monaco GP victories, the most of any current F1 driver on the grid, including an incredible one in 2008 when he went on to win the title, and 2019 when he held off Max Verstappen on the wrong compound of tyre for many, many laps in memory of Niki Lauda. What an incredible drive that was. Of course, his other win was 2016 when Daniel Ricciardo and Red Bull mucked up, which gifted Lewis Hamilton the win. However, he is still incredible around these streets, very consistent. Hopefully we see Lewis back to his best at Monaco this year. Coming in the 2nd place spot, we have Max Verstappen. I mean, obviously right now Max Verstappen's here. He's an absolute phenomenon. Has won twice around this circuit. Actually took him a while to win his first GP, considering how strong Red Bull usually are around Monaco. 2021 being his first win at the Monaco circuit, which allowed him to lead the championship to go on to win the championship. And then of course he won in 2023 in his all-dominant 19-win season. But with Max Verstappen, he'd probably be top 2 at every single current F1 track on the calendar. He is just ridiculously consistent and extracts the maximum out of every single car and always puts a serious amount of lap time at Monaco on his teammates, just like every other track. However, I wouldn't say it's his complete strongest track, but that Sector 3 in 2023 was absolutely ridiculous, like genuinely insane. It's the best individual sector I've ever seen live of a Formula 1 qualifying session. He was behind going into Sector 3 and somehow put it on pole, going as close to the wall as physically possible. It was incredible, which leaves only one man to be number 1. Shout out Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly as well, by the way. They're very strong around Monaco, but it's got to be Charles Leclerc. The guy extracts, in my opinion, more than the maximum around Monaco. It is ridiculous what Charles Leclerc can do at this circuit. 2024, obviously finally won the Monaco GP, breaking his curse, the curse of Leclerc. And if you didn't know what this curse is, okay, he's only got 1 win there, but he should have many, many more. 2023, he probably wouldn't have won that race because of the dominant Red Bull and Fernando, but qualified 3rd place, still very decent in a poor Ferrari, but then got dropped to P6 for impeding Lando Norris. 2022, put it on pole, was looking set to finally break the curse, but a bad Ferrari pit stop, of course, made him finish in 4th place behind his teammate as well. 2021, Charles Leclerc once again puts it on pole position, but this one was a little bit different. He crashed into the wall, which secured him the pole position. However, it destroyed the gearbox, which they only found out the next day when he was doing the warm-up laps to the grid. His car gave in and he couldn't even start the race. In 2019, Charles Leclerc's car looked like this. Therefore, he didn't finish the race. In 2018, he was in a Sauber. He's not going to win anyway, but still a brake failure stopped him from finishing his first ever Formula One home Grand Prix. But then the curse was broken in 24 and 2025. Despite a dominant McLaren, Leclerc nearly beat Norris to it. He beat Piastri, and it was an incredible lap. The amount of risk he takes without putting it in the wall is just ridiculous at Monaco. He is by far the best on these streets. Probably has a bit of an advantage when it comes to the emotions, but that can also get the better of him, and he can put it in the wall, trying to get that pole position, trying to get the maximum out of it. But it just simply doesn't faze him. That's my top 5 ranking of the current grid at Monaco. However, what is the top 5 ranking of all time? Well, let's find out. Coming in at 5th place, Charles Leclerc. Okay, I've put him at number 1 for the current grid. I've got to put him on the greatest of all time grid. This grid is incredibly strong. I've put Charles Leclerc first. He goes in 5th here. I still think there's 4 better drivers with either better CVs at Monaco or just who I feel like is a better driver at Monaco in their time. Okay, I've not watched all of these guys race, like number 4, Alain Prost, for example. However, I can see Prost has won 4 Monaco GPs, which is just ridiculous. And as Alain Prost was in his Formula One career, he was very calculated around Monaco, always did exactly what he needed to do, was very impressive around these streets, back and forth with Senna for many years, winning important Monaco races and then World Championships from that. He goes in at number 4 for me. At number 3, it has to be Michael Schumacher, one of the greatest of all time in Formula One. What he could do around the Monaco streets in the late 90s and the early 2000s was just pure dominance. It was absolutely ridiculous how good he was around here. And then he proved that again in 2012 in his remontada Formula One comeback. He still put it on pole position in a Mercedes that wasn't yet dominant. And when you watch that 2012 lap by Schumacher, it is just ridiculous. What a lap by an aging past it Michael Schumacher at that point. It was just a ridiculous lap. However, he doesn't quite make the top 2. Both known as Mr. Monaco in their time, but one still known as Mr. Monaco to this day. Coming in the 2nd place spot, we have Graham Hill. Won Monaco 5 times. At the time was the record. He was absolutely ridiculous in the 60s. And bear in mind, Graham Hill was dominating Monaco when it was a much more dangerous track, much more dangerous cars. It was still incredibly dangerous, and Graham Hill still dominated on those streets. Was known as Mr. Monaco for many, many years, but he doesn't quite beat 1st place, which is obviously Ayrton Senna, a record-breaking 6 Monaco victories. His average gap to a teammate at the Monaco GP was well over a second. That is how strong he is. Bear in mind, he's been teammates with Prost. He is absolutely ridiculous around this track. He won it 5 years in a row. 5 in a row. I think when people get into Formula One, one of the first things they will see is Ayrton Senna's onboard Monaco lap at the 1990 Monaco GP getting pole position. It is a thing of beauty. What a driver around Monaco. No one will ever be better than Ayrton Senna at Monaco. A pure driver with pure incredible talent just for the Monaco GP. In that McLaren, it's just so iconic. So he is Mr. Monaco for me, the greatest around the streets of Monte Carlo. So they are my 2 rankings. Again, comment below if you disagree with those rankings. Do you think Lewis Hamilton should be in the top 5 GOATs? Do you think it shouldn't be Charles Leclerc first currently? Do you think Graham Hill is better than Ayrton Senna? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.